The four-wheel Jamboree series draws to the season conclusion as they crown champions in racing and freestyle in Indianapolis. The drivers are focused in. Mark Hall holds the edge with a 120-point or 3-round lead. We've got a four-way race going into the last weekend, and it is going to be exciting here on ActionTracks. Before we get into the action, let's meet the competitors. First up, it's Mopar Muscle, Mike Miller. Dave Redzira is in the XDP diesel truck. The General, driven by Steve Kohler. Avenger, Jim Kohler. One of our 4 championship contenders, the Lucas Oil Bigfoot, driven by Larry Swim. Another contender, Rammunition, Matt Dishman. Dan Runte in the Bigfoot 25th anniversary truck, also a contender. And our points leader, Mark Hall, in the Raminator. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got a huge matchup in round number 1. This could make or break championship hopes. It's Dan Runte and Bigfoot facing off against Mark Hall and Raminator. Runte basically has to win this round to keep his hopes alive for the championship. If Hall wins this round, he creates a little more cushion between the other competitors. They're neck and neck into the second turn. This is a crazy track here. The drivers are here, there, and everywhere. They've got it down, and Runte's got a lead coming into the final turn for the final straightaway. Hall is in huge trouble. Huge air. He's trying to make the comeback, but no. Knocking out the Raminator in round 1. The points leader is on the trailer. Dan Runte keeps his title hopes alive and is only 2 rounds behind Mark Hall and the Raminator. Our next pair on the line, the General versus Rammunition. Rammunition, one of those points contenders. He is also 4 rounds behind his teammate. The General will be in a lot of trouble. Dishman seems to have him handled. Keeps his hopes alive, gaining ground on his teammate and keeping pace with Dan Runte. Rammunition carrying on. Our third pair, Mopar Muscle Mike Miller and the XDP diesel truck. The diesel's spooling up, not quite looking right. There's a lot of white smoke there. He may have trouble. Oh, and he's dead in the water. It looks like Miller is going to have a free ride into the second round. He'll get out there and feel this tough track out. Muscle cruises to victory. He'll be in the semifinals. In our fourth pair, Lucas Oil Bigfoot, Larry Swim, also one of our contenders, 5 rounds out, versus Avenger Jim Kohler. Swim's in big trouble. He spun it. Coming out of turn number 2, Kohler could cruise to victory here. Kohler a little conservative. Larry Swim giving it all he's got. And Larry Swim with an incredible come from behind victory. He gave it all it's got to get that one. The Indy Jamboree was also special because the International Monster Truck Museum and Hall of Fame also made the announcement of their 2014 inductees.
This year's inductees into the International Monster Truck Hall of Fame, and of course the museum located in Auburn, Indiana.
This year, the nominees are Dale Wilson, driver of Virginia Giant; John Green, driver of Mad Dog; Mike Waters, driver of Black Stallion; Andy Brass, driver of Bigfoot; and Kirk Dabney, who's had multiple trucks through the years: Blue Thunder, Duraliner Giant, Extreme Overkill, just a numerous number of trucks. So those will be your 5 inductees for this year, and we wish them all the best.
Yet again, another great class of Hall of Fame inductees. But it's time to get back into monster truck action. The trucks are ready, the drivers are ready, and we've got another huge matchup in this first semifinal round. It's Rammunition versus Dan Runte and Bigfoot. Both of these guys still have title hopes. Both of them need to win the round to close in further on Mark Hall in the Raminator, who's sitting on the trailer, just seeing how much damage is done today. Runte with a bit of a lead heading into the final turn, but Rammunition has closed the door. He's closed the gap. He's right there. Huge air, a huge wheelie. But Dan Runte, by some narrow margins, gets the victory and moves to the finals. Runte now 1 round behind Mark Hall. Our other semifinal round, Lucas Oil Bigfoot, Larry Swim, hoping to keep his hopes alive for the title against Mopar Muscle. Mopar Muscle, part of that All Brothers team with Raminator and Rammunition. You know he wants to help his team out and help Mark Hall keep that lead if he can. Mopar not in the title hunt. And Swim misses the turn a little bit. Wow, what a race. That was so close. Let's take a look back, see what we've got, see who wins this race. Oh, wow, by a narrow margin, Mike Miller and Mopar Muscle takes the victory. It is finals time in Indianapolis. Mopar Muscle against the 25th anniversary Dan Runte Summit Bigfoot. Dan wants this victory. He'll be tied with Mark Hall in the Raminator if he can take this win. Mopar Muscle's trying to play spoiler. Who's going to take it? Right on the edge, narrowly misses, spinning that truck out, neck and neck into the final turn. Everybody's a little bit sloppy out there, but Runte corrects fastest and flies to the victory. Dan Runte is now tied with Mark Hall in the Raminator going into our final 2 events in Indianapolis in the Jamboree Series. This is going to be wild as the events play out through this weekend. Runte salutes the crowd. He's got to be pleased with this. Let's take a look back on board with Dan Runte, our victor this time out. yet another special feature here. Bigfoot 4x4s and family events, along with help from Vinyl Images, came together to present Dan Runte with a brand new Harley-Davidson motorcycle to honor Dan Runte for 25 years with the Bigfoot organization.
Thanks for teaching me everything that you've taught me. I think it's pretty awesome. You've been doing it for a long time.
Being able to deliver year in and year out.
Glad you've been around this long. Hope to be around just as long again.
Very fortunate to be able to call a close friend.
I would rather lose to Dan than anybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to put your hands together for this guy right here. 25 years. Hey! The honorable president, right there, take a look at that 2014 Harley-Davidson. You're right here, Dan. Get right around here. Thanks for being here, brother. It's all right. There's the keys. Hey, the title and everything, Zoodle for framing. Zoodle, we don't read it. Zoodle for framing right there. And again,
Yeah, we'll get her done, you know. This is a tough deal, you know, 25 years in, I guess, thank Chandler's and the Trents, you know. It's most of all the fans, because if it wasn't for the fans, I wouldn't be at 25 years, and Bob wouldn't be approaching 40 as far as Bigfoot goes, you know. It's you guys that mean a lot to us, and I can't say enough about it, because this is what we come here for.
Holy smokes. Let's do this show. Let's knock this out. Thanks, buddy. My wife's going to be mad because I'm going to put it in the living room.
I know. I've been working. I'm busy.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, it totally shocked. 25 years, come to Indianapolis. Had a fairly good night last night as far as racing went. Went to the finals with Mark. I messed up. Mark got me. But yeah, introductions today. Got a brand new Harley, 883, blue and silver, from Bigfoot and Special Events. Doc's Harley-Davidson, of course. And Vinyl Images wrapped it. Shock. I mean, total shock. Everybody was down. Kind of tore me up, to be honest. I guess I mean something. So it's an exciting day. Went out for the afternoon show here and actually won that. After I got my composure together, of course. But looking forward to tonight's show. And like I said up there, if it wasn't for all the fans that Bigfoot's had for the 40 years and the 25 that I've been there, it wouldn't be possible for me to still be standing here today. So thank you.
Dan Runte, always a class act and well-deserved on his 25-year anniversary with Bigfoot. But we're into freestyle. It's Steve Kohler out first in the General. Out there trying to cross thread. This track here in Indy presents some interesting challenges as a lot of the obstacles are very spaced out because this is a huge arena area. Not to mention, most of the obstacles out here were built for the racing track. So the drivers are going to struggle a little bit trying to make them look like freestyle obstacles and really air out these trucks or get a lot of wheelie pops out of these trucks. We'll have to see what the competitors can do. Steve seems to be struggling a little bit out there. The truck seems to be a little out of shape. He's not quite getting the rebounds that he might be looking for. I think he's been trying to get a couple slap wheelies off of some of these individual cars out there, and it's just not worked out for him so far. He's approaching the big ramp-to-ramp obstacle in the middle, though, with big air and a fabulous slap wheelie. Amazing Steve Kohler. Just as it looked like he was struggling, he got it all together with a sensational combo move. And on that, he's going to round out his run, swing up by the grandstand, and salute the crowd. Out next, it's Larry Swim in the Lucas Oil Bigfoot. Larry has often been known as a freestyle-oriented monster truck driver, but in this Jamboree series, he's proven that he's also a racer, as we've noted right there in the title hunt. Approaching the center obstacle with a little bit something different, a little bit of pop going through the valley and getting the front end up off the ground. Swinging down the front stretch, he's going to cross thread. If a driver wants the freestyle victory here in Indianapolis, I think cross-threading is going to be key to that victory. It's the only way. Larry varying it up with some nice air across the ramp to ramp. And moving on to the van stack. Larry's got a very competitive run here. We'll have to see how it stacks up with the judges at the end of the competition. Swim has done a great job out there, really hitting a little bit of everything on the track in different ways. I think this is going to be a top flight competitor here today, and that shouldn't be a surprise coming from Larry Swim in Bigfoot as he springs the truck to a halt and rounds out his freestyle run. Our next competitor will be one of the points leaders, Mark Hall in the Raminator, though he's the racing points leader, not the freestyle points leader, so we'll have to see what he can do here. But starting off in a spectacular fashion with the big ramp to ramp in the center there. But everybody seems to be struggling, trying to get the rebound off of those wheelie cars out on the far side of the track. Hall, no exception. Hall's got a lot of that big ram power in the Raminator, and he's carrying a lot of momentum. We'll have to see if he can really put it to work here on the Jamboree track here in Indianapolis. So far, a lot of high momentum, but not a lot of high action. Donut by Mark Hall, something we haven't seen yet. I think that's a nice addition to his freestyle run. That should help him a little bit. And cross-threading, getting some air. Hall seems to be stepping it up as we approach the latter part of his freestyle run. Paul really needs something spectacular to round out his run and leave that emphasis with the judges. But he slides to a stop. A lot of momentum, perhaps not a lot of wow moments. We'll have to see how it comes out in the end of the freestyle competition. But right now, it's Dan Runte in the 25th anniversary of Bigfoot. He's got to be feeling amped right now. He took the racing victory, tied up the Racing Points Championship, and just received a brand new Harley Davidson. He's got to be motivated out there, and we'll see if that contributes to a great freestyle run. Heading towards the center stack. Oh, he's going to try what Larry tried and get a wheelie. And can he walk it? Ah, a nice move. Rounding back for some big air. Yes. A conservative leap in comparison to some of the other competitors that have come out prior to Runte. That may have hurt him a little bit in the eyes of the judges, but a nice leap. Runte making the big jumps look easy. I think that's just a testament to how well this truck also works for Dan. As he grinds to a halt, that looks like it will round out his run. I'm glad I'm not a judge. I think they've got their hands full today, but this may set them apart. It's Jim Kohler in the Avenger. This man is always top-notch in freestyle, a many-time freestyle champion in many different series. Jim Kohler is always sure to put on a show. With a slap wheelie. Also the first to achieve a slap wheelie off of one of those wheelie cars. Everybody else has had trouble getting the proper rebound out of the truck, and Kohler made it happen. Putting on a fantastic run out there. He's got a diverse freestyle run, and he's also made some things happen that the other competitors have not yet. And that's a second and improved slap wheelie, nearly dragging the bumper, but not quite, showing that fine line between relying on the bumper to keep the truck from crashing and balancing a great wheelie. fantastic freestyle run. He's got to be a favorite. But in the end, in a bit of a surprise, Mark Hall in the Raminator takes the victory. It's been a wild day of action in Indianapolis as Dan Runte took the racing victory and tied Mark Hall in the championship coming into our final two events. We'll show you all the action next time on Action Tracks.